I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Chalet's festive special is back. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to the Curling Stadium coverage of the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel here in North Bay, Ontario. My name's Shawn, Joyce, joined for this game by Jim Nix, and we have the semifinal matchup between Laurie St. George and Isabelle Ladouceur. Both of these teams coming through the quarterfinals this morning, and the two teams that had 4-0 records both lost this morning, so everybody left on the ice 3-1, which means they had to draw to the button to determine who would have last rock here in the opening end to play, and St. George won the draw to the button. Ladouceur throwing the red stones, brought the first one in, and early on here in this first end, it looks like the two teams content to exchange hits in the house.
Yeah, strategy we see more often than not, to be honest, Shawn. It's a couple of games have been exceptions to that, but most of the time these teams are willing to go up and down the sheet for an end and get their feet under them and all that sort of thing. So
St. George's team has been shorthanded all weekend. Lisa Weigel, who normally plays lead for the team, not here this weekend. Emily Riley in the hacks now, normally would be the second. She's throwing the first three stones. Jamie Sinclair playing third, delivers the next three, and donning the heavier jacket in this game. Laurie St. George, the skip, in the house.
both these teams looking at an event like this to kind of maybe kickstart their seasons a little bit. Both, I would say, would be a little bit disappointed with how things have gone. I know at least in St. George's case, it's a new team, but played 4 events and, qualified in a couple, but didn't qualify in a couple as well. And best finish this year from what we have is 5th. And Ladouceur's played actually 5 events prior to this event. Started not bad, hovered around 500 for a couple of events, and then went 0-3 and 1-4 in the Stu Sells Toronto and Halifax Spiel. So they'd like to get back on a winning track, and maybe this is a Spiel that gives them that chance.
But not with shots like that. Goes right by everything. So early advantage here in this first end to the St. George team, a chance to split the rings and perhaps pick up an easy deuce here in the first end. Just looking to try to get this stone even with the one across from it so that they don't leave a shot at the double. It'll end up just a little bit higher. Tough double. You'd have to throw some big weight here. Even if they just hit and roll towards it. Might be able to group these blue stones and get a shot at the double later on in the end.
Yeah, it's early enough. You'll usually get one whack at it at least, and when you get it, you have to take advantage of it. I agree. This one's probably not the one. More trying to set up shot than anything, but
Michaela Robert slid by on her first one, looking for the hit and roll to group these stones. Makes the hit, rolls into the edge of it, actually spins up a little bit. It's a pretty good shot. With where that red stone ended up, impossible for Laurie St. George to roll back to the other side without jamming on her own, so she's going to have to leave her rocks grouped a little bit here. Jamie Sinclair looking to make the hit. She needs to stay on the broom side. She will just enough to drive it by, but it does leave the nose hit double. Third stones now. This is Grace Lloyd. Mentioned Michaela Robert throws second. The lead on the team, Rachel Steele. Isabelle Ladouceur, the skip in the house. This needs to come up a bit if she's going to make the double. Needs the nose hit. She's going to be just a shade on the broom side, enough that she rolls out of play. And that gives St. George a chance to split the rings again.
Yeah, definitely not the side you wanted to hit that one on.
No, yeah, you hit it on the other side, you could jam it, and you'd still leave everything on that side of the sheet.
These teams did play once this year, according to the records that we have, and way back in September in the Stu-Cells Oakville, with St. George's winning that one 5-3.
Still leaves that stone just a little bit higher than the shot stone, but a lot of room between them. It would be an awful flat double. It's still more likely just to hit and roll over in that direction somewhere and hope you get a chance for the double later. They're running out of... Sorry, Jim. They're running out of later, though. That's the only problem.
Yeah, exactly. They did manage to do this one other time, so they got the one shot at it that they didn't make, so they're hopefully going to get another one for them. So
playing the hit with the out turn, so to get the gear effect, it'll help them roll over a little bit. Has to be thick. Makes the hit. Robert with the roll gets it just to the other side of the center line. So the stones are grouped for now. There is the chance for St. George to roll back to the other side. Jamie Sinclair will look to cross the face of this just a little bit and roll back over to the open side. And she makes that very nicely. Now those two stones very even.
yeah, those are both as perfect as you could be.
Yeah, no chance to roll into the side of the other stone now. If Isabelle's going to get the good roll now, she probably has to roll maybe half in behind that blue stone in the 8-foot on the other side.
Yeah, very difficult, but it would be a good result if you could manage to do it. Isabelle Ladouceur played her junior curling down in my neck of woods in Halifax here until she went to university in Ontario.
And a left-hander, just to keep me on my toes with the in-turn and out-turn situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of left-handers this weekend.
Needed to get a roll. She's going to hit that right on the nose. Laurie St. George will look to hit. Probably nose hit is good. She can roll a little bit broom side. Nose would leave some angle. I guess it would depend on how hard Isabelle could throw, whether or not she'd want to go after the double or not.
Yeah, if she were to hit this right on the nose, then the double's a possibility if you can, like
Yeah.
you say, if you can throw it hard enough. And
Yeah, it's still a little flat, but it's probably there. She can afford to roll a little bit to the outside. Can't roll out of the rings. Actually, with that little roll, I don't think the double's there at all now.
yeah, it'd be extremely difficult now. I don't even know if anybody can make that one. Probably a few people could, but nobody I know.
So she's got to play the same hit attempt. This one a little farther out now, but play that same hit and try to roll all the way across to just underneath that blue stone in the 8-foot. I'm a little surprised she's not playing her out turn at this. It's that's a long ways to roll, and she'd like to roll steep too, so you'd get a little bit better action with her out turn, being a left-hander.
Yeah.
Boy, they're going to have to go to get a piece. She'll touch it just enough to push it out the side. That was perilously close to giving up a draw for 3.
Yeah, it was near disaster. 3 in the first end is a long way back.
As it is, Laurie St. George with her final stone, a chance to draw, needs any piece of the rings, and she can pick up 2 points here in the first end and jump out to the early lead. Never trailed in her quarterfinal matchup, looking to jump out to the early lead here in the semi as well. Won this last rock advantage in the opening end with a draw that was just off the pin in the pregame. She'll throw this draw in the first end to the back 8-foot, but that's good enough to pick up 2 points. Laurie St. George out to a 2-0 lead here. You're watching the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel on the Curling Stadium YouTube network.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more, please.
You make moments like these possible.
'Tis the season to enjoy Swiss Chalet's festive special. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. Your favorite tradition, the festive special. Only $17.99, only at Swiss Chalet.
2-0 for Laurie St. George as we begin here in the second. They bring the first stone into the 4-foot, and now the corner guard attempt from Rachel Steele. Center guard is up. It's fairly long. Laurie St. George calling for a tighter center guard now to protect that shot stone. Might curl too much to protect the shot stone. And hard to tell from this angle whether or not it's touching the center line. That's what Laurie's trying to decide. The two teams need to agree on that before this stone is thrown. Because if it's touching the center, you can't move it off the center line with this attempt.
Yeah, I think it's just off. The long view here looks like it could be touching. The overhead looks like it could be off a bit. So I figure that balances out, and I think it's touching the line.
You know, it makes a difference, and this was not an intended consequence of the no tick zone rule, but it's one that I've found interesting. If you're playing a shot like this and it's off the line, you can afford to tight ice it a little bit, make sure you make some noise. If it's touching the line, you have to take enough ice to make sure you're by it. And I just wonder from that throw, if it's touching the line, did they take a little bit more ice just to make sure they didn't touch it, didn't get the line they needed, because the weight was pretty good.
Yeah.
That little roll to the outside gives Emily Riley enough room to try to make the hit, roll back under cover. She'd be in front of the tee line. Could be sitting 2 after this. It's close, might roll too far. Just out into the open on the other side. Michaela Robert being asked to play the hit roll on top of the stone at the back of the 4-foot. On the brush pretty much right away. They're going to have to go to get by. She's by. Might have to make the double now. She'll touch them both. With it curling that hard, she was so thin on the first one, she was never going to stay right there. Actually, and you know, they really didn't have time to think about this, but once you were by the guard, they could have switched the sweep to the other side, try to get a little bit more curl.
Yeah, end result for Ladouceur, I think, is not bad. It at least took the play away from that button area, which was going to get a little crowded there after the next shot.
St. George still shot at the back of the 8-foot, so electing to ignore the red stone and try to come around to the top button area. That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, perfect.
Sits 2. Ladouceur will play the run back here. hit this right, you could get all three blues moving. You know, they're in such a straight line. I think it would be hard to kill all three, but you could kill two and pop the other one out into the open.
Yeah, 2 would be big here. I don't know if it's going to get over or not.
Plan B at the end, they decided that we don't want to stay close to the center if we're not going to get the double, so they roll it to the corner. Jamie Sinclair being asked to replace the guard. You know, I'm just thinking here as we're watching this, there's nothing really fancy out of the St. George team so far, but I don't think they've missed a shot. Like,
No, I think you're right. Back in the first end, they didn't miss any. And
yeah, it was nothing fancy. It's just, you know, and it seemed like a little thing, but look at how well that guard is lined up to the stone in the rings. Like, she cannot make a direct play on shot stone. She's got to play the guard.
Yeah.
Grace Lloyd looking for the run back. This one's going to over curl. Got to be careful not to jam it on their own stone. We'll pass it by.
A great setup for Ladouceur if those 2 blue ones weren't in there right now.
Yeah.
Got the corners all ready to go and everything. If they were going to need a miss out of Jamie Sinclair here to take advantage of that, I think, and they seem to be hard to come by right now, misses.
Yeah, no, this St. George team hasn't missed a shot yet. Like, I don't, if you're using that 4-point scale to score the shooters, I don't know where they could have lost a single point yet.
No.
It's pretty hard to beat a team that plays 100%.
It is.
And once again, that's pretty much dead lined up. Like, you could maybe get around to freeze that stone at the top of the 4-foot, but a freeze doesn't really help them. They need to be able to move it. So she's going to play the guard one more time.
Yeah, this is the third crack at this. You need to make this one of these times, or it's going to be very difficult.
Rushers indicated this one might be a little bit more weight. Oh, and that's the worst possible miss. Just drives it by and didn't roll off.
Yeah, you could see that one coming. It just wasn't getting over quite enough, and it's so close, but those ones that are too close to really give up on are the hard ones. You know, somebody lets it go and they let it go an inch wide or something. Well, you know what's going to happen and you know what to do. But when it's so close, it's sometimes tough. You get caught in between.
Well, and the guard was high enough that you didn't have a lot of room for error. The more separation there is between those two stones, the more precise you have to be with the hit. And she hit it very close to what she needed. Just not able to make contact. You know, on the previous stone where the guard was a little bit tighter, if she'd hit the same piece, she'd have got that stone at the top of the 4-foot. But now in all kinds of trouble. If Laurie St. George can come around right to the face of her own stone, she'd be sitting 3, and it's getting to the point where Ladouceur has to be careful that she's even got a chance to score at all.
No, yeah, really close.
I mean, she only needs full 4 foot to score, but if you had to draw Cole to the 4 foot right now, where would you go?
Yeah,
Corner guards are kind of in the way.
Yeah, I'm not so sure you could draw the 4 foot, like the center of the 4 foot at least on. You could draw to where this blue one is, but that's about all you can do. Keep playing the run back again, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see what else you can play. And same spot here, you run into the same problem. If you're just a hair off the nose and don't roll out of the way, you still may not have a shot for your last one. This is a must make almost. You hate to say that in the second end, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of ways to score a single if she doesn't move something out of that 4 foot here. Even if you stuff the first one and just kill the one that's in the 4 foot, you might have more room to score.
Yeah.
You know, the other side of that, though, if she could run this back, hit it perfectly, double out the 2 blues.
Be buried.
Yeah, and a
Just
chance
close.
for maybe 3. This is over curling, though. They lost it at the end.
That one did curl pretty hard just in that little short distance, so.
Yeah.
Tough call in the house.
I think Laurie has to throw the guard. And then I don't know what Isabelle's got left.
You can put this in the perfect spot. She would have very little. If you could go around there and guard the top blue one, but take an inch of the red rays away too, it would be super hard for Isabelle to score at all.
I'll tell you what, if all she's got left is the red rays, I'd give her that all day long.
Oh yeah, it's a long. It doesn't look too bad when you're looking at down the ice view here. It looks like it's pretty good until you look up top on the other side and you realize, well, yeah,
it's a lot of room between those rocks.
It's a lot of long ways from there to there. Yeah.
She might have the wide in-turn draw to give up a steal of 1 if you can put it right on the tee line.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing much else. Laurie doesn't want to slide this into the rings and leave a triple that could allow Ladouceur off the hook a little bit.
You're right. She's very close to doing that.
They actually call the sweep on at the end, figuring if they're going to be in that tight, you may as well. She probably gets away with it. You could play the triple, but you're still giving up the one at the back of the 8 foot.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee the third one goes out either. If you look at the middle blue out of the 3 of them, it might be going into the red on the side.
Yeah, and you can play the one that Laurie just threw, but then you're going to probably give up 2. Wouldn't be so bad if it was to give up 1, but I really not sure what she's playing.
She's playing the draw to get to the inside of the blue one that was just thrown. She's drawing to the corner of the 4 foot.
Okay,
taking advantage of the fact that the guard's long, and this is her in turn, so she needs some curls. She's got to get past the blue ones.
Yeah.
To get the line she needs here, she's going to have to flirt with the long guard a little bit. Big shot here early in this game, facing 4. Needs 4 foot through a hole that's not really there. It's got a curl to get through the port. Looks like the brushers want to go, but this has got to curl a ton. still on the blue stone. Weight was okay. Line wasn't. It's a steal of 4. Laurie St. George out to a 6-0 lead here in the semifinal. It'll be Ladouceur with last rock once again in the third.
Hey Canada, head on down to Montana's for our 50-day aged 7-ounce sirloin flame grilled with 2 sides and onion rings, all for just $25.99 every day. Premium steak without a premium price. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Spiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
It still rolls. Well, St. George has been rolling so far today. She's got a 6-0 lead here. She had a strong showing this morning in the quarterfinal as well. Got out to an early lead there. Not the position you wanted to be in here if you're Ladouceur, but it is early in the game, and I guess that's always been the discussion since the free guard came in. If you're going to get down early. You've still got time, and it is really hard to defend for 6 ends.
Yeah, I think the key to that is the getting down part. There's no clarification on that. I don't think they mean down 6. I think they mean when you get down 3 or 4. But anyway, but you're all right. You don't have a choice, and now you got to do something about it. So certainly a dream start in the playoff championship Sunday here for Laurie St. George's in both games. And you had said, Shawn, that you don't think they've missed a shot, and I think you're right. One probably you weren't going to score 4 out of 4, but it still wasn't a horrible situation for her. So,
well, and that's the thing. The more shots you make, your degree of difficulty doesn't get that high because as long as you make your shots, you're never usually in too much trouble for the next one. So you keep you're getting to call easier shots.
Exactly.
The Ladouceur team has had a couple of misses, and every time you've got a miss, your degree of difficulty ramps up on the next one. Looking to throw the corner on the other side here, so they're going to play the double corners. I like this. I see a lot of teams wait too long in a game to play the double corners. You need to score.
Yeah.
And you need to score at least 2. And if you can get a crack at 3, you need that. I mean, you're going to need a big score here somewhere along the line if you're going to get back into this game. To just play for your deuce and be content to play with 2 and try to get back to close, there's not enough game left for that.
No.
We talked a bit this morning about the old curler's math. If you can get 2, force 1, get 2, force 1. Well, for the second game in a row, here early, Laurie saying curler's math doesn't work for her opposition. She knows they're going to have to force the issue. The game is pretty simple for her right now.
Yeah, it's all in at this point. It's you get closer or you go home early. That's usually what happens.
Yeah. That was the fifth stone of the end. She can start addressing those rocks in the middle. She's not. First thought was to go around the corner. I don't mind moving the blue ones now. I like what she's looking at here. She's looking at playing quieter weight. She doesn't need to kill any of these blues. Would like to move them around a little bit. That overlap at the front is kind of a problem for her. She can deal with it right now. Has to keep the redstone in play, so expecting some quiet weight here. Well, that's not a lot of ice. Looking to move both blue stones, curling nicely. Catches one, catches the second. Well, that's a really good result. Pushes one behind the corner, just about behind the corner, but behind the tee line, and leaves a staggered corner on the other side.
Yeah, I think that was a good shot.
Yeah, great shot. That's the thing. We talked about it, Jim, you and I, in the game this morning. You get down a little bit early, and it means you don't get to play easy shots. That was not an easy shot, really, but it was very well made. I mean, you've got a few options on that shot, but, I mean, she made that really good. She's got a stone behind the tee line. The other blue stone ends up, if she gets a chance to use that corner now, she's got staggered corners. Jamie Sinclair going to look to peel the open corner guard. And they talked about bringing the shooter across, maybe moving the red closest to the rings. Just behind it, they will actually come into their own blue stone. So Ladouceur looking at a very similar shot this time. Red onto the blue. Probably won't be any more weight. It'll likely be the same weight, and then roll back to the corner on the other side. This is, again, just about moving some stones around. This might overcurl, but it actually works out because with the blues kind of all congregated on that side, she overcurls the first run and runs it onto shot stone, rolling it in behind cover.
Yeah, this actually ends up not bad for the Ladouceur team. I think it's
it's a plan B shot, but that's the nice thing about this weight. It gives you the option. Didn't see the call here from St. George while we were in the replay. Is she playing the run back or the double peel?
No, she's playing the run back.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the run back. I was more a fan of the double peel.
Yeah.
She ends up just picking her own stone out. So now Ladouceur sits one buried and a chance to come around the center and sit two buried. And three is in play.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see the St. George's team, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but not trouble, but I found even this morning's game and this game, you kind of wonder a little bit about the strategy. It seems to be a little bit of confusion on what to do when you have this lead and rocks in play, and you might just have to sort that out a little bit off ice because it does seem sometimes like it's a mishmash of strategies. And
It is a little tough to defend for 6-end in the free guard zone row, but I in that particular case, because you're running the opposition stone in, I didn't love the call. She could have played the double peel on the guards, and then the blue-red was always going to be there later. So looking this time at running the blue in on the angle towards the one that was just thrown. You hit this right, you can double the 2 reds. Boy, there's probably room to drive it between the hole too.
Yeah.
just catches the red stone.
Yeah.
That does present a little bit of a problem for Ladouceur because it's hard to get around the blue one now. If you come around the red again, it's 1 run double away from taking your end away. She talked about coming to the back one. You make sure you get your 2 that way. She's going to play another draw to the center. You just need to dodge a double for a couple more shots.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes me worry a little bit about this shot. You probably could go in turn around the wide blue one, but you'd have to go out probably further than they're willing to go out at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely way out there, so you may want to try to come around your own now.
Yeah, I think they are. I don't know that they're going to get there, but well, she did.
Actually ended up in a pretty good spot with that.
Yeah,
no raised double there. 3 still in play. Well, I should say that there is a raised double there. It's not an easy raised double. A lot of room between them. And if you take the run at playing it, I mean, if you're just half an inch off, you could go red onto the blues at the back too. Looks like Jamie Sinclair has already got the broom down for a draw. Laurie's not thinking about the draw.
I think if you play this one with an in turn and the intent of going across the top of the one in the house, you probably could avoid the jam that you're referring to on the blues, because that'd be really bad. But
yeah, nose hit is probably, or nose hit are just a shade low. I think she's playing the in here. That's probably the jam onto the blues at the back.
Yeah.
Anything on the broom side, you should be okay. One thing we know, Laurie St. George doesn't have a problem throwing the up weight, so she'll throw some weight at this. She's actually throwing the out turn.
Yeah, wasn't expecting that.
No. She will get across the face. She's going to be close to getting them all and actually double stuffs it. And just like that, 4 is kind of in play.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm not really even sure where they were actually trying to hit this one. They were sweeping there to hold it.
Yeah, they needed to curl a little more.
Yeah, it did need to curl a little more, yeah. So I didn't quite get that. All right. If Isabelle can make this one real good.
Yeah, you Christmas tree this, just biting the 8-foot and Laurie doesn't have an easy hit on anything. She can maybe pick one of them out. Has to get across the face a little bit. Cannot stay on the broom side. She might leave a triple. This is a long ways out there. If it's going to stay out there, you might hope it stays short of the rings. It's not going to do that either. Sweeping to try to bounce off now so that all they leave her is a double, I think. Probably did that.
Yeah, not really a great shot, though. It needed to be better. No. It's you had a really good opportunity there to score 3, and now you're going to be more than likely looking at just 2.
Yeah. She could have drawn open side, and probably she's scared getting 3 here all day, but
yeah.
Something for the Ladouceur team to look at. That's the second in a row with an in-turn draw for her that she didn't get close to the line they were looking for.
No.
Might need to tighten up the ice on her.
Tell you, Laurie, better not turn this one a little tiny bit, or you're definitely looking at the jam on the back.
Yeah. Well, it's in that neighborhood because she's already missed the double.
So you have a chance for your 3 anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprised to see her miss out on the low side. You had a lot of room on the high side to make that shot, and you know, you could hit a half a rock and make it, or you hit a 3/4 of a rock and make it. I just surprised that she got to the nose.
Yeah, certainly with the weight Laurie can make a throw, like you said, she could get away with hitting a thinner piece on that and still get it to go.
Yeah.
With a 6-point lead, you're not really worried about getting the exact perfect, sit there and block her path for 2. It's more important to not give up the shot for 3.
Yeah. And as odd as it seems, this is a very big shot for Isabelle Ladouceur. If she's going to continue on her way to getting back in this game.
Rushers were on it early. She undercurled on a couple earlier. This one really moving towards that blue stone of 12-foot. It's time to stop sweeping it or they're going to bump it in. Just well short, and I'm not sure she had enough ice. That actually curled plenty. She will put 2 points on the board, but it could have been 3. As it is, Laurie St. George with a 6-2 lead after 3 ends of play, and she'll have last rock in the 4th.
Swiss Chalet's festive special is back. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion just like Sandra.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Six to 2 for Laurie St. George as we begin play here in the fourth end. As a center guard thrown up to start the end, and it is on the center line, so in the no-tick zone. Emily Riley looking to come around it here. A lot of room by the guard. And it will slide just maybe a little more than half behind the tee line.
Yeah. And as strange as it sounds, it's really up to your lead to give you an opportunity to get back in the game here by making these two shots perfect. Because if she doesn't, then it's going to be a very, very big challenge. You really need to have two guards, and you need to have them both biting that center line. So good start.
Rachel Steele made the first one, looking to throw a high one here with her second. Line looks like it's going to be good. They have not touched it yet. Having to go a little bit at the end to get it back to the center line, but when they do that, they end up with these two stones actually touching each other.
A pretty easy double there for Laurie when she gets to it.
Yeah, not able to play it till the sixth stone of the end. This is just the fourth. So Emily Riley looking to come around again. And what are your thoughts on it, Jim? With the double peel being that easy, does Isabelle have to throw one more guard?
I think I would, yeah.
I didn't see a call, so they know what they're playing. We don't. We'll find out. Looks like the guard.
Yeah. This one looks good.
Yeah, still might have slid a little deeper than they would have liked. Laurie's going to take a run at getting all three of them. Just gets the peel on the long one for now. You can see they were sweeping that to be safe. So out of her hand, they swept it to make sure they didn't over curl and get a nose hit. They don't want to see any more jams. They probably saw more jams last end than they'd like to.
Yeah.
Called a sweep on to make sure they didn't get the jam. Called it off at the end to hope they got the second one, but straight peel for now. Michaela Robert being asked to replace the guard. A little higher if they could. If anything, it's probably a little closer together. An angle now to try the double the other way, which gives you a couple of ways to make a double or triple. If you're driving it across the face and you're a little thin on the first one, you might catch the back one and at least get two guards out of the way here.
Yeah, Ladouceur needs her just to make the single one here because I think that she's just about exhausted the number of times she can go up front. So I think she's Probably going to have to make a move here in the house shortly.
We're still only on Third's first stone for her, though. Yeah, Third's first stone for her. Nice shot there by Jamie Sinclair. Gets all 3 guards to move. 2 of them gone. She rolls her shooter to the corner guard, and the one red that remains, a wider corner on the other side.
Yeah, she got a little more action off the shooter than I thought she was going to get. I thought she was going to leave a little bit of a better guard than that, but I started with a little something to work with, but it's not perfect. By only scoring 2 in the last end, it really forces Isabelle that much harder to have to go here. She really doesn't have a luxury of forcing a steal here or forcing a point here. It's you're just going to be down too many.
I know what you're saying, but I think she's at the point now where a force is the best she could do.
Yeah. Yeah, it may well be. Just going right on top on this one.
Yeah, probably wouldn't mind moving it back just a little bit. There is a chance if she hits this just right, she could leave a pocket of the Blues, but
yeah,
you don't want to risk moving them too far. Straight freeze is better than spreading these out too much. Even that's not the end of the world, because it's getting to the point where you can see it's hard for St. George to peel guards now. There's some risk. If she plays the blue onto the red, there's always the risk she runs it into the rings.
Yeah.
Peeling the red on the other side really doesn't help her at all. She does have the out-turn draw to the button if she needs it to score one at the end, so time to switch to offense here. Jamie Sinclair will look to come right down on top of their own stones and sit 3. They really had to wait on the line. It ends up just in the 12-foot, but pretty good line.
Yeah, the red corner guard kind of messes you up here for having a chance to ignore this and come around. If you wanted to do that, it might be impossible to do it.
Got to play some defense now, which is not a comfortable thing to do when you're down 4, but you can't afford to give up 2 or 3 more. She's going to play the triple here.
Should be close.
Jams the top one, but does spill it out into the open, and shooter hangs on for a bite of the 12. Nice shot here, Grace Lloyd. Big weight. She'll move all 3 of them. And it's not a small thing, I don't think, that she held the shooter on for a bite of the 12-foot, because if you're at the point now where maybe the best you can get is a force here, that biter might be the rock that gets you the force. Jamie Sinclair's going to look to come around here. There is the possibility with that blue stone being open, she could leave you a double. This one's well by the guards as well.
Definitely a chance at a hit and roll behind a guard, that's for sure.
Yeah, looks like it.
I thought they might have to play it on the hit and roll off the outside one earlier, but now I think you can do it quite nicely just on these rock on the center line.
Now, Isabelle, being left-handed, this is her intern. She's had a couple of intern draw attempts that she wasn't able to get them to cross center. So I just wonder when they're taking this amount of time to discuss this, if that's not part of the conversation. She has to get across the nose.
Yeah.
If she just hits it on the nose, Laurie noses it right back, and it's going to be hard not to give her a shot for 2.
Yeah. Looks like she might be trying to decide whether or not she throws enough weight to take this out, or if
Yeah,
she
maybe.
lumps it back and rolls.
I think the gesture there was an indication they're just going to throw hack to board.
Yeah.
She's got to get across the nose. That's the trick here. And she's thrown a few draws really down this path that didn't cross.
Which is a bit odd, being a left-hander. You'd expect, if anything, it would be.
Yeah, the interns usually curl, right?
Yeah.
She does have a little bit of a pop on that intern release, and they're sweeping for curl early. Gets back to the nose and maybe just a sliver to the inside, not even enough weight to kill it, and still didn't get a lot of movement. She is shot rock. Laurie's going to have to make a play on it. Hard for Laurie to stay there, though, and if she rolls to the other side of center, there's probably room for Ladouceur to make the draw.
Yeah, that was really close to being perfect. If it just curls another half an inch or so, and 3/4 of an inch, and it's going to be in a great spot. As it is, it's not real easy here to do something really good with this. Pretty easy to remove it, but where you end up is another story, like you say.
Well, Isabelle's going to have a shot here anyway. If St. George is able to make this and stay there and block the draw path, she can always come off the blue on the outside. There's air between the blue and the guard, so she can roll into the 4-foot off that one.
That's right.
I mean, you're trying to steal against the possibility of giving up 3, but she's not getting a force out of this end now with leaving that one at the back.
No.
So she's going to have to play a shot to try to steal now. St. George making a last-second decision there to just tighten it up. Ideally, if you're Laurie, I think you want to roll just an inch or 2 to the broom side just to make sure that this stone is fully in the open after it's done, so that if Isabelle does make that little roll in behind cover, you've got this one to promote.
It's going to be hard pressed to get this by the guard.
Yeah, I don't think it's getting by. Comes across, does come into that other red stone. Hard to tell whether or not the blue is biting or not. They're talking about hitting the blue stone in the 8-foot, but you can't really afford to roll in. You roll in, you leave a double, and that's for at least 2, depending on whether or not that blue stone that was just thrown is biting the rings or not. You could nose it and get the force.
Yeah, I'm guessing too. Probably part of the conversation is how best to steal at this point, or is there a good opportunity to steal at this point? And let's enter into the conversation a little bit here. Yeah, I think if you're going to hit it, you hit it, stay on the nose or roll a couple inches and then say, okay.
Yeah, how greedy are you, Jim? Can you roll just enough that if St. George nose hits the other one,
yeah,
he's not shot rock anymore? I mean, that would be the absolute best result if you could do it, but you're risking rolling too close together and leaving her a double.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that you don't have to roll very far to make that happen. At the same time,
I
you are
agree.
right. Yeah,
half a rock, maybe a full rock.
Yeah, I think a half is probably plenty, but even one full rock would be okay as well.
You'd love to force Laurie to have to draw against two. They're looking at the split on the red. That's not bad either. Tougher shot, probably.
Yeah, I don't mind that shot either. It's
They get a piece of 4 foot this way, and I think that's probably what they're looking at, is give us our best chance to steal, is get a rock biting the 4 foot.
Yeah.
You can still sit 2 off this. Force Laurie to draw.
Well, at least if you do split them up and you force Laurie to draw, or maybe one of them's a little more open, she hits it, whichever it is. As long as you split these good, there's no deuce at least, and you are going to do no worse than a force if you're comfortable enough with that. Whereas if you try to play just a bump or whatever, like you say, you may set up a double, and if she makes a double, the game's over. So
yeah. Well, and you're never going to have a bite of the 4 foot playing that little hit and roll. If you did, it would leave the double for sure.
Yeah. If you play the straight tap, just a straight tap to the tee line, say, then you're only going to be number 1.
Yeah, and she's got a chance to play the double for 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So final stone here for Isabelle Ladouceur in the 4th end, looking to split her own stone, get it in behind cover in the 4 foot, try to get the shooter in for second shot well over on the other side. She has struggled to find line on her in-turn draws. This is over curling. Can they get the split and still get 2 that way? They did. Although, is the double there?
It might be. I think she would play the nose hit for 1, but it might be there. I'm not sure she wasn't playing that way, Shawn. I know it seems bizarre, but when I look at the ice that they had and the way they called the sweep on that shot, I'm wondering if she was actually trying to cross the face, make the split that way, but that would be a much more difficult way to make it.
Yeah, there was honestly no way to make it good that way. You were never going to get the push stone away from the center line. Like, she needed the big split. She needed the shooter to go a long ways over towards the open side. If she left this rock for shot rock, Laurie was always going to have a shot for 1, a relatively simple shot for 1. And as much as like the stone that's in the 4 foot's a little deeper, but if you hit it thick with some weight, you can come into the side of that red stone, kick it out over the top of the blue.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have to get it all the way out to score 2. And I don't think she's ever getting more than 2, because I don't think this ever goes over the top of the blue stone at the back. with what she needs to hit of this stone to come into the other one, I think she's clipping the one at the back. Out turn, Laurie St. George, big weight, looking for about 3/4 on the first one, come across, just has to move that second rock about 6 to 8 inches. She's in the neighborhood, makes the hit, does touch it, enough to move it off the face of that blue stone and put 2 points on the board for Laurie St. George. Gets back the 2 she gave up in the third, restores that 6-point lead. It's now 8-2 after 4 ends of play, and that is enough for Isabelle Ladouceur. She will shake hands, concede the victory. Laurie St. George, with a couple of strong performances here on Championship Sunday, has moved herself into the final later on this afternoon. And we get an early game here, Jim. Strong performance from we had the St. George team in their quarterfinal this morning. They have played really well so far today. They'll be looking to carry that forward into the final later on.
Yeah, I think you're right, and good job for them, because I did have a couple of their games yesterday too, and they took a little while to start making some shots yesterday, but right now, like you say, they had very few misses in that game. It might have been more or less basic shots, but they made them all. So, yeah, good job, and they should be tough to beat in the final.
Well, you've been watching the Swiss Chalet Women's Curling Stadium Spiel on the Curling Stadium YouTube network. As is always the case, we've had every game all weekend long available to stream and commentary on selected features. The other semifinal still underway. You can move on over and catch the rest of that game. The final will start later on this afternoon. We'll have that live for you as well. And continuing on with action all season long. My name is Shawn Joyce. I want to thank you for joining us. On behalf of myself, my partner, Jim Nix, thanks for joining us in this semifinal, and we'll look forward to seeing you back for the final.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
'Tis the season to enjoy Swiss Chalet's festive special. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. Your favorite tradition, the festive special. Only $17.99, only at Swiss Chalet.